Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P Farm. Thinking right out here in the lab where I do what I do for you. We're going to talk some more about my girl, Aset. So get ready. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. The message is in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in and receiving them. I appreciate you. Let's do what we do. Right Thinker's mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right Thinker's way of life, through mental and spiritual discipline, practice daily, will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission, that's what I'm on, is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal should be to know thyself. See where I'm going with this? Come on with me and pay attention, and you will know thyself. All right, so I asked the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical. But if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not, it's simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. Oh, I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know that self. And always, to my yacht, be true. We still talk about my girl, Aset. So right thinkers, let's talk about more about Aset and her aspects and what she bring to your character because she bring a lot. Trust me. Let's go. She is the paramount representation of what the principle of motherhood, faith, devotion, which is amply displayed when by her actions in the Assyrian resurrection myth, as she could. So myth, as you should remember and recall what happened when what? When Asar was murdered. His body was severed into pieces after he got put into the casket, sent down the Nile River. She found him, brought him back, found him again, cut them up into 14 pieces. But this is the concept of your personality, your ego. This is what the ego does, and this is why wisdom and ego clash. And this is what's going to happen. Watch this. So, what ego tears up, wisdom put back together. That's what I said represents. So, watch this. So, when the Tsar was murdered, his body was severed into 14 pieces. Everything was found except the one that follows. We know the story, okay? But this is a different concept, so I ain't gonna go through the story. So what Set, which is the ego, does to the soul, what? Tears it to pieces. Now, in this aspect, our Set is the what? Diametric opposite. Here you go. And opposition and opposite of Set. They don't get along. She raised Haru, who's gonna fight him. That's why Haru don't get along with his uncle. So watch this. As we explained earlier, we know the story. Aset is opposition in opposition to Set. The one who breaks things into pieces. Okay, that's your ego. He just self-destructive, tears stuff up. He don't care. Okay, as he chopped the body of Asar into 14 pieces. She is the one who what? Puts pieces together. She brings everything together. That's what wisdom does. She assembles things without the instructions. Okay, but she called on Tahuti. She also called on Anubis to help her out. So these are all the characters of your personality that you can use. They all work together, interacting, all of them. So watch this. Now she assembled things like broken pieces of the body, but also broken knowledge. And that includes what? The highest knowledge. The knowledge of what? The whole soul, aka the self. which has what? Lost its identity, aka its memory, its consciousness of who it is. Having been what? Fragmented into what? You ready? Believing. The soul has been fragmented into believing it is finite, limited being. I gotta get mine while I'm here because this is over. That's it. Ignorance of the higher self. Most people suffer for that and they got to pay for that. Everybody learn at their own time and rate. I'm just here to teach those who want to learn. I can't make you do nothing. So for those who believe they're finite, limited beings, aka human, we are spiritual, divine beings having a human experience. We can become divine by our actions, our thoughts, and understanding of who we are. It's called waking up. It's called reaching knee-high spiritual enlightenment, whatever you want to call it. But that's the goal. Become anointed, know thyself. Moving on. So I want to get you to understand all those things mean the same thing. But if you don't have to understand it, that you are that, watch this. You are believing you're finite, limited being, and yet you're desiring what? Something more, abiding. Why? Because in your heart, you know it's something more. The mind just ain't figured it out yet. More transcendental to hold on to. Something better than us, something high. That's us aspiring to be better. That's what aspirants, that's what human beings are. We're here to what? Aspire to reach that level of what? Knowledge of self. It's teaching. Now, which is what? Why most people, okay, most people, not all, most people search after what? Answers. And they're searching it for where at? In religion or some other spiritual pursuit, which is okay. They somehow think and believe what? That there are more than just physical beings. There you go. Now you're starting to get the concept. You're starting to think. Right thinking means critical thinking. I got a lesson for that coming up too. Just want to plug that one. But right thinking is critical thinking. Why? It's all about being logical, rational, and not believing or what somebody said. No, trust nobody. Like my man Sadi Guru, who I trust? Me. That's who. Oh, that wasn't Sadi. When the rapper said that, but Sadi said the same thing. They biting off of Sadi. I got you. But the concept is trust nobody's words. Find out for yourself. That's what the experience is all about. Wisdom comes from experience. You can't get wisdom from reading and being taught. No, that ain't wisdom. That's education. That's until you imply it and use it, it means nothing. So when you become understanding you're more than just physical beings, now they what? They do not have a real idea about what that means. Why? Because you ready? Religion cannot help you since it does not have true, powerful mysticisms that can what? Enlighten you. If what you're practicing and what you're following, you're not prospering, you practicing and following the wrong thing. Moving on. They call that religion. I call it the wrong thing. So I don't practice that. Moving on. Let's go. So let's get back to what Set and Aset goes up against each other in opposition and why. Set chops up the body of a saw into pieces and strews them. Now, depending on who's telling the story, they say all over the world. No, just all over Egypt. And Aset turns into a bird. Again, flight. They can leave the earth. They not grounded. Set can't fly. Set can't leave the earth. Anything four-legged can't fly. It's bound to the earth. Okay, that's the concept. That's why your spirit has wings. Red Bull gives you what? Wings. Imagine a bull with wings. Okay, let's go twist it. They got something going. But moving on, let's get this lesson. Sorry about that. Where we at? Now, with Set chops the body of a saw into pieces and threw them all over the world, all over the web. Okay, let's go with world. And then what happened? Aset went all over the world looking for them. And Set means what? Shooting out. When he was born, he didn't come out the birth canal. He came out the side. He broke his way out. So he means to shoot out. That's the concept of Set. Scattering and so on. Aset means what? Gathering, reconstructing, and the like. She puts things together. She should have been around for Humpty Dumpty. She could have helped them out. But that's the concept. But they still, again, she put all the pieces together. She didn't have no fathers, so she made one. Moving on. If you are a person who practices what? These wisdom teaching, right? Think philosophy. You are now called a spiritual seeker, an aspirant. You go all over the world, what? Putting the pieces together of your life, trying to make it fit, make it work for you. You may go to the what? University to get scholarly knowledge. You can visit museums and learn about history. Then you can practice or you can go visit monuments and special archaeological sites to learn about the history. And you can seek out what? People like me, wise people. And you can even read books on many from many libraries. You can acquire even more books. I'm still looking to buy some more. I got some stuff I'm trying to get, so that's me from bookstores, etc. All that is really all you're doing. You're attempting to what? Put the pieces together of yourself. Perfect concept. Hope you understand it. Your soul, and that is Aset's energy within you, working in you to put what? Together your conscious, CONSCIENC, your heart, in of your true higher self, which is your conscious mind. Once you become what? Heart, mind, coherent, they work together. That's elevating your consciousness. It's like a boost. Like that Mario I just saw, he got to eat mushrooms. Y'all know what mushrooms do? Hallucinate, take you to the next level, alter state of mind. What? It's an enhancer. When you before you die, you go through the same thing. Alter states. Why? DMT, hallucinogen. Egyptians love to trip. Back in my high school days, LSD was my favorite drug. Why? It was brain food to me. I don't know about somebody, but it made me think, sped my thought process. I love that nonsense. But yeah, I did, that was my thing. Again, when something that you like, and if it didn't hurt me as far as I'm concerned, I'm still just as sharp, as witty as I can be. So it didn't take my brain cells and make me dumb. No. Use it for its intended to exercise your right to expand your consciousness with a little aid of a hallucinogenic drug. That's it. Plants have it. It's natural. Moving on, but that's the concept. When you try to learn anything in the world, what are you doing? You are trying to put back together all the pieces of who? Asar. Again, that's within you, your soul. If you are an engineer, or you are a veterinarian, or if you are even a lawyer, a doctor, or even a clerk, a factory worker, or a kindergarten school teacher, etc. See where I'm going with this? Don't make a difference what your profession, what your walk of life is. You have pieces of knowledge of the world. Whatever you may be, you have a little bit of what? Knowledge, but nobody has what? Enough space where in their mind to figure it all out, especially since what? They are accumulating what? Relative knowledge from the world. You're picking up everything as you go in time and space. Remember, the brain sits in darkness. This sends all the messages to the brain. What you see, what you smell, what you hear, what you touch, and what you taste, all that's a signal to the brain for certain things. That's how they understood that a long time ago. Which is relative what? Reality. It's a relative reality to begin with, first of all. And this is like what? The parable of, this is a good one right here, the five blind men. Talking about the blind leading the blind, perfect example. There were five blind men who were taken to an elephant, okay? So that they could fill it up, so they could discover that what it was. One touched the legs and said it was a pillar. The other one touched the tail and thought that it was a broom. Another one touched the side of the elephant and thought that this has got to be a wall. One touched the ear and thought that it was a fan. One touched the trunk and said that, oh, it's a snake. They were all asked, what is this? What is this? They said a wall, a pillar, a fan, a broom, a snake attached. And because they was blind and only was using the sense of what? Feel, they was all wrong. How you know? Why? I'm going to tell you. This is how some people go through life. guessing and just taking little bits and pieces and think they got something and don't get the whole thing. That's a thief. They take a little something, knowledge or secret or something, and they think they got something. They've been doing it for years. But this is the concept. Let me get back to the lesson. Sorry, man, I got to watch the clock. Then someday, watch this, somebody who was not blind, okay, who can have vision, what they didn't have, was brought in, and the person with the sight said right out the back, oh, that's the elephant. Intuition is that capacity which allows what? You, the human, your human mind to transcend what? The ordinary intellectual capacity that what? Perceives elements and relative concepts to see beyond the illusory surface of relative reality, meaning getting the whole picture, seeing it for what it really is, and perceive as a whole. I love this. However, there we go. Most people, again, if this is you, this is the things that you need to work on. I'm not doing nothing but giving information. You should use it the way it's intended. If it relates to you, you use it and employ it to change the things that you're not doing for yourself. Most people are like the blind men, again, or like a what? A person with a mental impediment. And I use that concept. Why? If you are in love with another man and you're a man, you have a mental impediment. That should be dealt with psychologically, not professed and practiced and allowed to go on. Moving on. That's another, I got a problem with that. And when this person with mental impediment, you know what they call? Nagasoya. In reality, most people suffer from spiritual similarities in their inability. What this means, the definition, the inability to what? See how the apparently varied objects of the world are really made up of what? The same substratum, the same stuff. They call them atoms, molecules, electrons, neutrons. We know about all that. They are in reality all made up of what? Energy. Energy, frequency, and vibrations, that my man would tell you. And that is sustained by what? Consciousness. Predetermined understanding of something before it happens. Okay? In reality, the mind is not equipped to simultaneously look at the world and perceive it unitarily, whole nature. That capacity exists where? In your intuitional aspect of your personality. And guess who that is? Aset. Again, she represents intuitional knowledge, wisdom, experiencing, and knowing for yourself. That's the aspect of your character you also have to master. And from her, you can get to Asar. Moving on, but let's deal with her first. Many people think that they what? They can intellectually discover the secrets. I got a degree in this. I got a degree in that. Okay. And they think they discovered the secrets of the world because they got one aspect. Like blind people, okay? Knowledge is one of the aspects. And watch this. Intellect, excuse me, is one of the aspects. And their selves, watch this. They discovered the secrets of the world and of their selves through what? Disciplines like the sciences. A scientist ain't gonna get emotional, ain't gonna get caught up in belief. He gonna practice science. Moving on. Intellectuals have brought forth many reflections about the world, and scientists have discovered many things also about the world. But here we go with the however. The power of intellectualism has not led them, you ready, to the mystical insights about creation or ways to bring harmony and peace to the world, or the knowledge of the secret to creating life. Some of the most powerful intellects, there you go, your scholars in the world have caused, you ready, much destruction of the world. Much violence in the world is caused by them. Shot callers. If this is what can be accomplished through what? Rightness of intellect and self-important, you ready? Ego, superiority complex. Right there. Those guys, that guy who just got put his little fake shot thing in the ear, them guys are in a whole nother level when it comes to ego. Watch this. Imagine what could occur. Watch this. with strong intellect combined with, you ready, the depths of dullness, watch this, of ego, despised to what? Disposition, and sociopathic sadism, greed, irritable hatred behavior. If you have a leader like that, as my grandmother said, we going to hell in the handbasket. If the leadership is full of bad things, everything trickles down. Moving on. So intellectualism is not necessarily a good, nor will it automatically lead to what? Spiritual enlightenment. I know a bunch of unenlightened intellects, okay? Doctors and all that nonsense, professors, all that good stuff, but they don't know a clue about themselves. So moving on. And it don't lead you to spiritual enlightenment or what? Positive evolution. They're greedy, they're narcissistic, they just off the hook. The more we give people in them positions authority, they're going to continue on. Okay, you're millionaire, billionaire. Those are the most perverted people going. But why? They can buy their way out. Money ain't the root of all evil. Money contributes to all evil. How about that? Now, it can, in fact, lead, you ready? To devolution. You don't raise them, they get worse. And intensification of what? Their ego. Right there. We as a people and those who run the things don't believe they are egoistic. You hear that said? Believe. Once they know themselves, they realize their ego and they'll want to do one of two things: continue on and pay the consequences, or change and do better. Simple as that. That's your choices. Moving on. I'm not here to preach to nobody about what they should be doing. But you look at the state of the world today, the leadership. I'm so disappointed. I'm so annoyed. I'm like I said, watch this. She fell out with the world too. Watch this. Why? I'm dispassionate. Why? I got no feelings for what's going on in the world. I could care less. That's not good. I'm detached. I'm showing dispassion. That's the quality that I got from my set. Let's go. Watch this. Now, look at the state of the world today. We at the brink of global warfare, global environmental disaster, global economic collapse, health crisis, and more importantly, my biggest one, religious crisis. If religion is a good thing, how the hell is it in crisis? Moving on. And all led by, you ready? People with advanced intellectual capacity, degrees and PhDs. And none of them is in knowledge of self. That's the problem. Moving on, I got a little more to go. I'm almost done. So you must understand that the mystical wisdom is supernatural wisdom. Why? It's not what you see in the world of time and space or in the ivory towers of learned scholars. No. There are people who think they are wise. Bunch of them who know lots of things about the world. Again, I know this. I know how far the earth is from the sun. I know how deep the ocean is. Okay. Do you know you? Yeah, duh. You go get Homer Simpson. Duh. Yeah, stupid. Why? Because you don't. That's one thing. Mysticism puts together what? All those things, and it wraps them up into one neat package. Right? Thinking philosophy takes everybody's philosophical concepts that work, put them all together. That's why I call it spiritual gumbo. It's good for everybody. Why? Ain't no bad stuff in here. If it ain't nothing that's not good for you in my philosophy. That's the concept. And watch this. All that is to know. All that is to be known is known when? By that person who what? Achieve, you ready? Reek. That's the wisdom personified. That means you had your experience, you witnessed it. And watch this. The understanding of this teaching is given to us by who? The goddess of her own myths, Aset. The myth of Ra and Aset is where she pursues the transcendental knowledge of creation. And in brief, the story is told of how God Aset was brought forth in physical form, human form. This is why Set was able to kill Asar in physical form, conceptually. They have physical bodies as physical beings. Again, here we go, walk with me. With flesh and blood, that's like us. Now, in fact, they had been driven, had been divine. Again, they knew they were divine beings, so they had knowledge of self. Again, before coming down to this world, as per what? The myth, Aset and Asar were installed and enthroned in the Egypt to rule. That was their job. They did it good. They did something wonderful for a long time. Again, as was reduced to what? Consciousness in order to be thought of into physical form, but she had aspiration. She wanted more. Watch this. To be to the knowledge of what? Her higher nature. She wanted to know herself, the true self. So she craved what? For that knowledge of when she was not in physical form. So now she learned all she could as a human being. She learned all the knowledge of human beings. I love this. I'm almost home. Engineering setting you up for the next level. Engineering, medical science. Okay. I hear your boy talking about she was around with Awanaki. She took the term and put the baby, carried it 10 months, all that. These stories, some of the stories is the storyteller. How about that? They the story. Beware of the storyteller. It's moving on. She had medical science. She knew law, etc. And she became bored with it. Humans was boring her. They say same thing about Enlil, the story. They just moving on. I ain't got time for that. She became disappointed, like I am with society, with the world. How about that? We all do when we see what's going on. And because that worldly knowledge did not lead her to what? The better fact, the beauty part, the goodness, the peace and contentment state, which brings what? Supreme contentment, aka Hotep, or we know it as peace. When you can't be happy with what's going around you, that means things going around you. It must not be good. Watch this. And she became dispassionate about the world, worldly things, which is her sister, that. Watch this. She thought, if this is what the world is all about, count me out. Then there should be something more than this. Okay, Rob, I want more. I want to know the real deal. I want the ultimate truth. Stop BSing me with religion and beliefs to become not just a master of worldly knowledge, degrees, and all this nonsense, but also a master of what? Myself, the transcendental wisdom. So she developed dispassion, detachment, and these are some of the first qualities that you develop on the path of what I said in self-righteousness. Why? You're not agreeing with what's going on around you. So you got a problem with that. So you become a rebel. Now I'm a radical. Why? I'm trying to get done what's right for myself and my people. Some people got a problem with that. I don't care. That's what I do for you. And that's the lesson right now. I'm going to end it with right thinkers. May you all live to be 100 and me 100 minus a day. So I never know the right thinkers like you passed away. But I'll be back with more. I said, she got a lot to go. Be back.